The goal of this podcast is to help you break in and thrive in advertising. And we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. And sometimes we do these agency deep dives. We spend some time within the four walls of an agency to learn more and to share our learnings with you all. So this is our Colle McVoy series with a deep dive into 2 Super Bowl activations that broke through the noise. And Colle McVoy is in Minneapolis, so we were there directly after the Super Bowl. But we spoke with Meghan Figueroa, who's VP Group Creative Director, and Andrew Miller, who's VP Group Earned Creative and Media Relations Director, who helped bring together 2 activations. We got Paris Hilton paired with Frank's RedHot and Purdue and Wayne Brady. They brought these 2 things to life here, and they're going to talk about how Paris Hilton's high glam world collided with Frank's RedHot to spice up game day eats, and why Wayne Brady's live improv show for Purdue was the perfect game day activation. So this earned media mindset that fuels viral, buzzworthy campaigns is so important today, and they talk about that. And they'll also talk about how they navigated wildfires, production pivots, and Super Bowl-sized expectations to pull it all off. You're going to love this episode. We have a lot of short-form content surrounding Colle McVoy releasing over the next couple days, so make sure you're following us on our Instagram at Breaking and Entering Media. Same goes for LinkedIn, so you don't miss a beat. Now, on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast, and as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. Welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. This is our last recording here at Colle McVoy. It has been a pleasure. We've been here for the past 2 days. Ad Bowl, Andrew, you hosted that. You crushed it. You did a great job. It's been a lot of fun here, but now we need to get behind the work. 2 big game activations that you 2 were a part of that we need to uncover and learn about the ideas, the executions, the behind the scenes, what went right, what went wrong, all that fun stuff. So we'll dive into that. But first, can you introduce yourselves and your roles at Colle McVoy today?
Sure. My name is Andrew Miller. I am VP Group Earned Creative and Media Relations Director. So I'm a bit of a hybrid role where there's a combination of coming up with novel brand acts that command attention, and then on the media relations side, trying to ensure that happens. So actually interacting with journalists and media to secure attention for our clients.
See, that's so important, to have the earned media like brain at the beginning of the creative process, to know what's buzzworthy, to know what's going to get attention and break through, not just with the ad trades but beyond. That's so imperative that you're part of the process early. So it seems like that's a really good role that most agencies should have but don't.
I'd agree.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
Meghan Figueroa. I'm a Group Creative Director, VP Group Creative Director, copywriter by trade.
Nice.
Overseeing campaigns, pitch work, new biz, partnering with Andrew at the top of projects to do kind of everything we just talked about in terms of like how are we developing the campaign, how is that dovetailing with earned ideas, how is all of that living together so they don't feel like separate little tactics.
What's a slogan, tagline that you really love?
We have a campaign out for Purdue chicken right now, and the tagline is "Delicious chicken they may or may not deserve," and it's just about, you love your kids, but you don't always like them.
Yeah,
but you still have to feed them.
I love that. I've seen like the "Marry Me Chicken" recipes go out there. So like, do they deserve Purdue and like to marry me chicken? Like, who knows? I can see that playing into that too.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's talk about the activations at a high level. We have 2 of them that you both worked on. We had Paris Hilton and Frank's RedHot team up for the Glam Up Big Game Eats. Is this correct?
Yeah.
What's the wrapper on this? Who can give me high level? And then we can talk about Purdue and Wayne Brady winging it. So high level stuff here. Who wants to kick things off?
I love how we're both pointing at each other. It might speak to the Wednesday fatigue coming off of Sunday, but I'll try. How
Go
about
for
that?
it.
So you mentioned the Paris Hilton and Frank's RedHot partnership. they've got a great tagline. Speaking of taglines, which is, I put that shit on everything. And this isn't something they just, plucked out of thin air. It was very fan-led. I want to say about 14 years ago now running.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about a brand that has the courage, a household CPG brand no less, to make that what they are known for. It's really telling you where the creative boundary is. We, this year, like I mentioned, partnered with Paris Hilton, and that was a continuation of a years-long strategy of doing things that were highly unexpected for that brand. We had the fortune of working with them last year, somebody like Jason Kelsey, and we described him as kind of the perfect mascot for that brand and what they stand for.
Why?
Big, ostentatious personality, just devours life, just kind of has a presence.
Yeah.
Paris was someone who's been in our lives for 20 years running now, someone who brings nostalgia but still has an incredible following among Gen Z, which was really surprising for us to learn. I think she's an immediate go-to for people my age, but her following pops really well with 24 and under. So
Interesting. Yeah, it's crossing those generational lines. So you've identified that Paris would be a good brand collaboration. Mm-hmm. And then tell us about the actual activation, high level, and then we'll get into the details.
Yeah. The high level was just taking Frank's into Paris's world, which is pink, it's shiny, it's bedazzled. She had a cooking show a couple years back on Netflix that was a nice little reference for us. So she's even created a line of cookware. So she's been in this culinary space just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we were really inspired by this idea of taking Frank's RedHot and what it stands for and giving it a Paris Hilton treatment ahead of the Super Bowl, where mm-hmm. people are thinking about, what am I going to feed my guests when I'm hosting that party? What are the recipes I need to know? And that's important for Frank's because that's the key window to sell. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what drove everything we did.
Got it. You put the Frank's brand into Paris's world, and you did not put Paris into the Frank's world.
Yeah, we really want to honor the things that fans have come to know and love about her. I think as much as originality is a great thing in creativity, we want to do things that haven't been done before. Mm-hmm. With the Super Bowl, there's also this air of familiarity is nice now and then. Now, mm-hmm. It may not want to be someone you're seeing every single day at the present time, but I think it's why we see so many actors, for instance, that we haven't maybe seen in years, pop up in ads. There's immediate recall, familiarity. They stand for something. So that was really appealing when it came to Paris.
Wonderful. So then let's talk about Purdue and Wayne Brady winging it, improv show, high level. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the execution was Wayne Brady was going to live stream a completely unscripted improv show. He was going to wing a show during the entire Super Bowl amongst a bunch of chicken wings.
Love it.
Just lots of wing love. It's
so clean and crisp. Like you found the perfect actor to do that, winging it, improv throughout the game. Wasn't necessarily a spot in the game. I believe both of these weren't necessarily a spot in the game, but they're surrounding the game. So we'll get into that. So I want to go through Paris first, and then we'll get into Wayne Brady questions after. So we'll fire through these, but I want to understand with Paris Hilton and Frank's RedHot, what was the original ask from the client? And how did you develop the strategy to make this campaign stand out?
Yeah, well, Super Bowl campaigns always have a memory of what was done last year. There's always a sense of if you're going to do it this year and you do something again the year to follow, you got to top what you just did. So in this instance, as always, sales was everything, and I think that's kind of obvious. That's why we do a lot of this stuff. But the brand's well established. They don't need to reinforce that. They needed this power period to really up their sales because the space has gotten crowded. No one's shying away from hot sauce at the moment.
True.
So that was a big objective. In terms of finding a way to stand out, not having that big game buy, we need to look at other avenues that give us a high confidence that we could earn attention, but also we need that basement to be really high as well. So you think about somebody like Paris Hilton with 27 million Instagram followers. You can feel pretty good about where you're starting off. Mm-hmm. So that was a big key in why we partnered with her.
But what was she actually like on set working with her? Did she bring any unexpected ideas to the table? What was it actually like working with her?
Yeah, so I didn't have the fortune of being on the production, but my understanding from those who were there is just professionalism was the word I kept hearing again and again. Mm-hmm. She and we worked with her team, 1111 Media, so there's a lot of familiarity with the director and all of the crew that was there. And then the history of her show was it was filmed in the exact same location. So
Nice.
there may have been some muscle memory.
And did her team have any like influence on the creative process? Did they push back? Did they add anything to it? How was that working with them?
Yeah, the thing we were most self-conscious of going into our first meeting was that we were leaning too heavily into that's hot. And I love the phrase, putting a hat on a hat. We had to be really cautious about not overworking a joke or stacking jokes on top of jokes. So they were really generous with allowing us to tap into some of those Parisisms that she's known for, but also let us know when we were crossing the line. So we had elements like our bedazzled bottle. It's very Paris. Having not just tortilla chips, but pink tortilla chips. That's Paris. It was great to tap into those things because that's what fans know and love her for, but we had to be careful not to kind of characterize her in a way that would maybe just be like a little too expected.
Gotcha. Yeah, the boundaries and the lines there and toe them carefully. And it seems like you navigated that well. So did the idea come first, or was it built around Paris? If she couldn't do it, who would have been your next pick?
That's a great question because our next pick might be the next person we partner with if all goes right. But I'll
Okay,
say,
who is it? Come on.
we knew that our strategy was going to be focused heavily on pregame.
Yeah.
If people realistically begin shopping for the Super Bowl, maybe right after that NFC, AFC championship game. But we knew that recipe videos were mandatory, and we knew we needed some kind of sweeps to give people a reason to engage. So the idea, the architecture of the idea was kind of there on arrival, but a big personality to carry that content that, again, I said recipes. Someone who could give it some light, some life was really important, and Paris was a natural choice. She's had a pretty wonderful renaissance lately, so
Yeah.
I felt like we were getting back in at the right time with her.
Good to know. Good to know. And this question is going to come up again, but with any sort of Super Bowl activation comes a lot of pressure. What was the energy like in the war room, and how did you keep the team sane during this entire process?
Man, well,
You don't.
a lot easier for me, I'll tell you that much. I think our Purdue team had a much more challenging evening doing what they did. In our case, platforms are adjusting so much year over year. I think you look at Twitter activity, X activity this year compared to 5 years ago, the real-time element's gotten really hard. Brands may not be as active there. So for us, it was kind of reacclimating with that platform, and having these unplanned interactions with other brands was thrilling. It kept us on our toes. I think we were really proud that something might go live from NYX Cosmetics, for instance, and within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, our team would have content ready to publish. So there's just been so much evolution in the space. If you think about Oreos, Dunk in the Dark, how many years ago? Now real time is the expectation. And it's almost this exercise of how do you take that notion to the absolute extreme.
Gotcha. So what did the clients at the very beginning define what success looks like working on this campaign?
Yeah, we certainly wanted to hit all of the metrics, like your media impressions and placements, and those things matter. Social engagement, sweepstakes entries. There was none of it we looked at and said it didn't matter, but it really did come back to sales all along.
Right.
And in a certain way, that's really liberating because you're part of a bigger equation that's going to make that happen. We're not affecting retail and end caps and distribution, but maybe we can be part of inspiring people to say, oh yeah, buffalo chicken dip is a really easy, affordable thing that I can make, bring to the party, and feel good about. So for us, it was about giving people just a reminder of how big game isn't that hard to figure out. It's wings, it's pizza, it's wings. It's hot sauce in your buffalo chicken dip.
Oh yeah, love it. Shall we talk about Purdue and Wayne Brady now?
Let's do it.
All right. So Wayne Brady, known for his quick wit, one of the best improv artists of all time. How much of the campaign was scripted versus truly improvised? And did he push back on the length of the amount of time he'll be improving?
Okay, there's a few questions in there. How much of it was scripted? So the live event that streamed during the Super Bowl, completely unscripted. We were feverishly protective of respecting and protecting the art of it being unscripted and fully improvised.
Sure.
The teaser videos that went out prior to the live stream, we did a crack at scripting, shared with him. He did some modifications just to bring it into his voice and feel appropriate for his brand. So those, I would say, were concepted and structured by us in terms of how the stories went, and then he added his own flair to it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. That's so interesting. And was he worried about how long he would have to improv for?
No, not in the slightest. Like, I think from our very first call, he was so excited about the project. He was actually, one of the first things he said on one of our calls is he's like, nobody's ever done this before. And it just reminded us of why we were so excited about the idea. Mm-hmm. One of the many reasons we were excited about the idea is like, no, nobody has done it before, and he seemed like he could probably go live tomorrow.
Oh.
Or like he was just like, let me at it. This is my thing.
Yeah, that's what he's best at. And just utilize what he's really good at, tapped into the right person. Love it. So how'd you come up with the concept of blending the live improv with the big game? And was the idea built around Wayne? Similar question I asked earlier.
It's pretty obvious math. It's winging and winging. Everything's about wings. This is a Purdue product. It's a relatively new one. So they're still, working to bring awareness to it, put it into culture. They've got competitors that are sort of catching up on the wing front. So all the more reason they want to sort of keep their wings top of mind. And, obviously Super Bowl is the day that everybody eats all the wings. So as we were ideating, we had a number of different concepts, but this one just really hinged on the idea of winging a show, whether it was a music show or a comedy show or anything. That was just a really simple connective tissue to the product itself.
It's so clean. Just the whole idea to execution, the casting of it. It makes so much sense. Wayne, great performer, great singer too, that we saw in those clips, which I hope we can share those too.
Sure.
Because those are great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then I learned on both of these that the campaigns faced some production challenges due to the wildfires. So how did you pivot? What were some of the biggest behind the scenes hurdles of producing this?
I mean, lucky for us, we were winging things, so we didn't have to I would say we were going to shoot the teasers at Wayne's house. That could not happen because he was evacuated from the fires.
Oh my goodness.
We quickly pivoted. I would say overall, everybody, ourselves, our production partners, Good Behavior, the crew, Wayne and his crew as well, operated with just the utmost grace and consideration for everybody's situation. We had clients who really believed in the work and were happy to pivot. We pivoted to a studio. We considered changing the scripts, but I think fortunately the nature of the concept and the fact that he's an improv artist, we all felt really good that hey, if we have to roll in tomorrow and change that to be a monologue, we can do that.
Interesting. The whole concept allowed for the mindset of winging it, probably disseminated through everybody.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
We're not going to get stressed by it. We'll find a solution and make it work.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Were there any other Super Bowl ads this year or maybe in years past that you admired and maybe influenced your thinking for this?
I mean, there's plenty that I love and admire. I don't know that it influences exactly this. I don't know if you have an answer.
On our end? No, not really. I mean, the strangest thing is this is our line of work, and how often you'll pass through the Super Bowl cycle and be reminded of work from years past that you adored.
Yes.
Maybe in the moment you'd say your favorite out of all time, but you just have a way of storing it somewhere deep and forgetting. Yeah. So it's great to rediscover, but certainly during the ideation process when we're say into September, October, November, our heads aren't ever quite in that space, it feels like.
You just got to know,
better or worse.
You got to know the brand, you got to know what the ask is, and then you're coming up with brand new ideas, all different possibilities. That's best for that client. Totally.
Yeah, and I know we saw it coincidentally a few times with whether it was Reese's and Mountain Dew both having volcanoes blowing up, or of course Pringles and Little Caesars with facial hair flying.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
they probably had no clue that the other agency was doing that, and just to discover that.
Sure.
So it kind of worked out for
Pringles and I feel like Little Caesars is kind of elevated in both. They got more
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
With both the flying facial hairs.
Yep. But, you could be pretty stifled by the fear that you're doing something that's been done before if you're too proactively recalling past ads that you loved.
Yeah. It can be inhibiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what was the client's version of success? What was like their brief in this as well? Was it awareness for the wings, more sales as well?
Awareness. This was like a get into culture play. It was not a move wings play. Of course, they always want to move product, but this was let's get you into culture.
Got it. Okay. Wonderful. Then let's get into some rapid fire questions, shall we? The hard part's over. So is there anything else that we want to talk about, like behind the scenes stuff that we didn't cover with these two activations?
I just can't imagine a year where there's more going on in culture between news, politics, climate, that you're trying to reassess your idea and protect it, but read the room as well to make sure you're doing the right thing. And I think Meghan was really modest about the adversity they faced during the wildfires. Fortunately, we don't live there and we're not affected in that sort of way, but it is traumatic when you're called out of a hotel in the middle of the night saying, you got to get out of here. We're in the line of fire. And they somehow managed to get through all of that, create amazing creative, and make it through the entire experience, which I think is pretty incredible. So.
And it's not just Wayne the talent. I mean, you look at that whole crew. We pushed it a day, and we're like, well, if we push it to tomorrow, we might not have wardrobe or a DP.
Oh my goodness.
Or if we push it to that studio location, we maybe can't get a prop truck there because if roads it's like, so you start to just think really clearly about like what are the critical pieces. Wayne is the one. What is he willing and able to do? We will accommodate for that. We will rewrite scripts for that. He can wear whatever he has on his body. We'll scrub out any logos, like no worries there. So you just start to identify the really important things.
Do you think some of those lessons will carry on like into your next shoots and stuff like that when you're stressing about some of the small stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's, prioritizing people as people is always the thing. Every humans first, advertisers and performers second. Yeah. And just keeping your eye on like what are the most critical things for the story and the work. Yeah.
Yeah, and additionally, these were both filmed in LA and with talent that live in Malibu. We're very directly affected by it, and we're aware that there are other brands and agencies that relocated or even shut down production, and that's completely understandable. And as both projects were kind of assessing how to move forward, the one thing we're trying to keep top of mind is it's really important we can keep people working. There's enough production moving out of California in general. Something like this hits, we're coming off of strikes as well, not 2 summers ago. It made us feel more confident we were doing the right thing, knowing that we were continuing to help people support their lifestyle by putting them to work. So I think that's a good reminder is, you get so focused on your deliverables and what's going to come out on the other end, and you kind of forget that this is a paycheck. This is a livelihood for a lot of people involved. So
It's a great reminder. Great point. Thank you. All right, we'll do some rapid fires here. What is your go-to Super Bowl snack besides buffalo chicken dip and wings, obviously?
Ooh.
Queso. You got to go like chips and
Yeah.
queso or nachos for sure. Like trashy queso.
Yeah, it's a bad day to be a paper plate in my life.
Yeah,
I'd go
two-ply.
queso
You got to like
too.
two-ply them.
No,
Yeah.
you're going queso too?
Yeah, but it's no Velveeta. That's got to be the key there.
Okay.
Like your
Oh, we
Velveeta
have to
Rotel
talk.
formula.
I'm into that.
Okay.
I'm
All
there
right.
for highbrow or lowbrow.
Keep it real then.
Yeah. You do like a roux?
I wouldn't say I go that far. I've never said no to the Tostitos queso, which is probably about the same makeup as Velveeta.
Yeah.
Well, what's the weirdest food you've ever put hot sauce on or would?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't say I put that shit on everything.
I do love hot sauce.
I'd probably put it on a hot dog.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just trying to help you guys out.
Anything savory. I mean, I'd throw it on pizza. I'd eat it on anything savory.
Yeah.
Love it on like eggs, obviously.
Yeah. It belongs on pizza. It takes it to another level. No doubt.
I mean, putting it on like a fruit. You know,
Which
throwing
one?
it on like a little pineapple
No.
or like a
Tahini?
mango, kind of
Yeah,
going into
that
that
works.
mango tahini situation.
Yeah.
So pineapple is your answer. What's the
I'd go
weirdest?
pineapple.
That's a good one.
The weirdest?
Yeah. What's like? Yeah. What do you think would be the weirdest food you put it on?
Oh my
eat.
gosh.
Or try?
I mean, I'm up for just about anything, but cereal or something? I mean, I think after watching Jason Kelsey last year, I'm just intimidated by the notion.
Maybe like a pasta. Like I would put
Yeah,
it
why
on.
not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Moving on.
it in a
What's
Bloody
one
Mary.
thing you've totally winged in your life and it actually worked out?
Oh boy.
This production?
There we go.
I mean, I feel like we do a number of these kinds of things that we wing to some degree.
This
Yeah.
podcast?
Yeah, or
This
just
might be in recent memory.
yeah, little just talking about project kind of stuff where you maybe don't come in super planned, but
So this.
this is fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're very wild people, of course.
Who would win in an improv battle? Wayne Brady or Jason Kelsey?
Oh, that'd be electric.
Wayne.
Wayne Brady, sorry, is such a unique talent. I mean, it's the Michael Jordan of improv.
Made for it.
What's one celebrity you'd love to see in a future Franks or Purdue campaign? You know what I'm trying to do here, Jack, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Driving up some price here.
Oh. A celebrity in. All right, I'm going to think about the Purdue one. You think about your Frank's one.
How about, maybe one in history or maybe a nonfiction character?
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah,
can be
so-
from the past.
Yeah, let's go past so you don't we don't
Yeah.
mess up any chances of future partnerships.
I want George Clinton.
Okay.
I want someone who visually just looks like they're bursting out of the TV screen and has such presence that it's like no room can contain them. And just like the color dynamicism of George Clinton would be amazing.
Okay. Got
How
it.
about that?
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh. Are you talking about like
Yeah.
from P-Funk?
Yeah.
George Clinton?
Absolutely.
For a second I went presidential and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we're
Or
doing
Bill Clinton,
auto-tune and
yeah.
everything. Oh,
It's
I'm
like,
so grateful.
That's amazing. Well, now that's like infiltrated my head and I can't think of one for Purdue.
Yeah.
That's
A
amazing.
legend. Look him up.
I see him right
There
here.
you go.
This guy's awesome.
Great.
Which campaign was that for?
Life. I don't know I don't know if he's done any work before.
Well,
Just
no,
as a
no, do you
musician,
want it
as
for
the lead.
Purdue or for-
I'd say Frank's RedHot.
Frank's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're up.
Oh man, I don't know. I think of like for some reason my head's going to like really salty sitcom moms or like a Gilda Radner type, some
Ooh.
like just kind of a salty female personality from the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
One word to describe Colle McVoy today. That'll be the last one.
Besides busy.
Wow. Yeah, besides busy. Everything I come up with is more than one word.
All right. I'll get one.
Have others answered this?
Yeah,
Were there any repeats?
There were a couple. A couple
Oh.
repeats. A lot of same
audacious.
genre.
We'll go with audacious.
Okay.
I'm going to say curious.
That's the show. Thank you both for taking the time. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for having
it.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Super
nicely
fun.
done.